Hi, I'm Andy Jassin. I'm the founder and practice manager of Jassin Consulting Group. We're an advisory and consulting practice that deals in the fashion industry, in apparel, footwear, home furnishings, and jewelry. Before doing this, I spent 25 years as an apparel manufacturer running large apparel companies, including being president of Jones Apparel Group and then following as one of the presidents of Karl Lagerfeld's business for Biedermann Industries. 27 years ago, I started this practice thinking about how to help companies, how to use intellectual property, how to do mergers and acquisitions, and how to provide advisory services to companies that were suppliers of consumer products. So questions come up. How do you go from zero to significant speed and size? How do you go from significant size to magnificent size? And how do you go from zero to $100 million? There are no answers other than having the right resources, the right products, and a relationship with somebody who's going to treat you the right way, a retailer or a customer. I want to tell you a quick story about a former client of ours who engaged us to find a brand. It was a well-known diamond jewelry company with great distribution and great supply, but it sold generic products. It really didn't have a brand. It came to us and we spent a year in discussions and negotiations with them, thinking about solutions for their business. Solutions that would change them from being vanilla product, meaning simple product that everyone else had, to something where they'd be value added and somebody giving them additional money for a brand. We spoke with almost every major fashion brand around the world and eventually came back to what we thought was the most logical of the solutions, but it was a brand that had gone through a former transaction that did not succeed, and that was Vera Wang. As everybody knows, Vera Wang is the #1 bridal designer in the world and probably the #1 authority on celebration in the world. There are no number twos. So from our perspective as consultants and agents, trying to create a deal with Vera Wang and our client was a natural. But we had to come back and put it together in some form that would make sense to a resurrected brand relationship. So first stage was to understand what happened and why it didn't work the first time, and that was because Vera, who's an incredible designer, incredible personality, is not a jewelry designer, nor is she somebody that really understood the marketplace. In the former deal that she had, almost too much design control was controlled by Vera, and too little control was by the maker and distributor who really understood the marketplace. So step one was to understand what the problems were. The next steps were to understand the economics of what a transaction might be between our client and Vera Wang as a potential license. The short story that follows is after another year of negotiation, putting together the story, our client stepping up with a plan and minimum guarantees that were satisfactory to make Vera and a team happy, was to find a client. And rather than going into the marketplace and taking this big brand and this big supplier and chancing it to a lot of small stores, that client went to Zales, which at that time was a publicly listed company, and a little bit of trouble at the time. It wasn't the #1 brand retailer, and offered them an exclusive deal. 5 years later, when Signet, which owns Jared's and Sterling and many other companies around the world, looked at their supplier, which was our client, who was the licensee, and they said, we want to buy Zales because they have the exclusive relationship. Well, not quite zero to $100 million, but significant sales to over $100 million in a brand called Love by Vera Wang. This is a success story of great importance. It was great product, great brand, great distribution, and great capital. Jassin Consulting Group, with its great client and a great brand, was able to make a difference. That's typical of an example of what's done in order to find a branding solution, either for a supplier or for a brand owner, as they migrate into areas where they don't generally have the expertise. Thank you. Andy Jassin, Jassin Consulting Group.